Welcome back to the channel, and the channel is definitely gonna have a bit of a rebrand. I think I'm gonna focus a lot more on Ohio State now. Obviously, huge Buckeye fan. There'll probably still be some content. Well, I say still be. I barely posted anything. There might be some content that is not Ohio State. Um, I don't know what it would be, but there's a good chance. Anyway, obviously, the season just ended, and not how we expected it to end. So I'm gonna give some thoughts. First off, I just want to give some thoughts on the game. Honestly, I really think the biggest thing lingering is that Hartline affected us. Hartline going to USF, even though he stayed with the team, it affected us more than I thought it would. I know Ryan Day hasn't been the best play caller since he's moved to head coach, but we have to admit he was a good play caller. Not necessarily against Miami, but he has proven himself as a play caller. Now, again, since he stepped up to head coach, he hasn't been the best play caller, and, it sucks. That's how that had to happen, but I really do think, I thought it wouldn't affect us too much. I knew it would affect our offense, but I think not having Hartline be fully involved with the team really, really hurt us. And there's no hate to Hartline. Hartline is one of the reasons we're great. He's brought in some of the best receivers we've ever seen. And, I don't blame him for going to USF to be the head coach. This is a great move for his career. I have no hard feelings for him. Love everything he's done. And even without Hardline, we still made great receivers. Obviously, probably not going to get Jeremiah Smith if there's another Jeremiah Smith in Florida, But with all that said and done still, I still love Hartline, but I think him leaving was a huge impact on us. Then I want to say this O-line was just not what we thought it was. Throughout the season, obviously, it was like they're not great at run blocking, but it was graded always as one of the top pass O-lines consistently, one of the best pass protecting lines consistently. But I think the last two games really showed us that they're good, but they're not great. There's a lot of room to improve, and obviously, with the I forget how to say his name, man. Tishibola, maybe. But Tishibola. Sorry about that. I know I am mispronouncing that. But Tegra, obviously him being hurt doesn't help, but I do think it, especially with him hitting the portal, I truly think it was more of a benching. There could have been an injury there, but I'm not gonna lie, when Van Sickle stepped in to start, I believe it was Van Sickle, he did not play good at all. But then we switched to Padilla. I think that's how you say his name. I think he played very good for stepping up there, especially at being the third guard. So, yeah. But then again, Van Sickle was not doing good. Now, I will say, our defense played very good. We really struggled against consistently stopping the run. When it was big, sometimes we'd stop it, big plays, sometimes they'd go right up the gut. And it sucks that an ACC team just ran it up the gut on us. But, I have to give a lot of credit to Miami. They're a great team. And originally, I will say, at the beginning of the season, I was like, dang, Miami is going to be a true contender. Now, throughout the season, I was like, oh, this Miami team sucks. And then we get to play them. I was like, yes, I really love this matchup. And they proved a lot of people wrong. Miami was just better than what we thought. And I'm not gonna lie, I have to give them respect. They're a great team. It still sucks that an ACC team just killed us like that, but it is what it is. Especially because I don't even think they deserve to be in the playoffs this year. Lost to two unranked teams. How are you in the playoffs? How do you hop Notre Dame after neither of you played a game? It's a great question. Do I think that's the wrong decision necessarily? No. But I think Texas was a more deserving team than Notre Dame and Miami. Because you can say anything you want, but them losing to us should not have hurt them in the playoff rankings. Anyway, that's a tangent. But like I said, our defense was pretty good. They stepped up big when they needed to. They let Miami drive a little bit, then they just shut it down. I will say, though, our D-line, the pass rush, man, our pass rush has been inconsistent since basically since Chase Young left. I mean, Curry's played some great games. Kenyatta's played some pretty solid games too. And obviously McDonald, great DT, but the pass rush all year has just been inconsistent. Even with Jack Sawyer and JT, it was always inconsistent. And I really think if we can step up that pass rushing thing, especially in the portal, this could be a different team. Anyway, I also do think, like, honestly, in my full opinion, if that pick six doesn't get thrown, I think we win the game. And I know you can blame that on Saying. You can blame that on Jeremiah Smith for missing that block. You can blame that on Ryan Day for calling that play. You can just blame it on a miscommunication between Claire and Smith. But all said and done, a pick six was thrown, and it really sucks because I think no pick six there, we win the game. We're driving down the field right then. We're probably going to score that drive, even if it's only a field goal. But instead, that's a 14-point flip, basically. A 14 or a 10-point flip. Miami takes it, and they just swept the momentum. And also, later in the game, them being up a touchdown changes the way we completely played that game. I also think if Fielding makes that field goal, it is a different game. I don't think that necessarily we would have won if he scored that, but I do think it puts us in a different spot, especially near the end of the game when you're down by 2 possessions instead of 1. You have to play different. We had to let Miami score that touchdown because, but either way, I think I think that Fielding, if he would have made that, it's a different game. Again, I don't want to put all the blame on Fielding. Fielding was a good kicker until he was under pressure. And it sucks that that's Ohio State's kicker. But, I'm not going to say I hate the kid. I wish the kid the best wherever he goes. But I'm glad he's not our kicker anymore. And, yeah. Anyway, that's really where I want to start this. So now I kind of want to just go drive by drive. I think, so we start off defensively, and we played great. Make them punt very quick. And then we get here offensively. And you can't really blame Sayin for this play here, but Carnell Tate was indeed wide open downfield. It sucks that he was, but Sayin wasn't looking that way. Plus, he had 2 guys in his face on that side, and I really don't blame him for missing that. And then our second defensive drive was good. Obviously, they drove down the field, which wasn't ideal. Had a huge play from Fletcher on a pass. It's just left wide open. But then it obviously ended great with that forced fumble by Pierce. And Lorenzo Styles, I believe, got hurt on this drive, which I'll give my opinion on Lorenzo Styles in another video. But he's not my favorite guy. I mean, obviously, he had a couple great moments, but yeah. Anyway, like I said, this second defensive drive was good and then turned great by the forced fumble from Pierce. Just a great play by him. Saw the ball, just hit it right out. And then this drive, man, I gotta say, Van Sickle was just getting bullied. Bo couldn't go upfield on that one play. And then later in that drive, I just really don't know what Sayin was looking at. Then this next defensive drive, I know Sonny Styles hadn't missed a tackle all year, but that was not the first tackle to miss. I mean, that would have been a great play for us, and instead, Miami gets a huge gain. Then, I mean, this drive, we were really just getting bullied on the line. Obviously, Downs kind of forces a fumble on Malachi Tony, but he just a great lucky bounce. But then, the rest of that drive, our D-line was just getting bullied and just completely destroyed by Miami. And then I think it was a great play call by Miami for the touchdown. I got to give credit where credit's due, and that was a great play call. And then we get the ball for the beginning of the for the second quarter, and a great catch from Smith to start off that drive. Huge play downfield, wide open Jeremiah Smith. But then on the next play, I mean, the O-line didn't play this great, but Jeremiah Smith just can't miss that block. I get what he was trying to do. He thought that the DB was going to be looking at him, so he tries to kind of cut up field a little bit. But the DB was just looking at Sayan, and he read that play the whole way through. And yeah, I mean, the thing is too, if Smith does get that block, Tate really we had 3 blockers, they had 4 guys, and Tate can make a man miss, so that really does suck. But yeah. And then this next drive, we come out offensively, starts off with a big run, but then, I mean, again, this RO line just really couldn't do anything. I mean, I think Van Sickle, again, was kind of just getting bullied, but the O-line was just not good in the first half at all. I mean, Sayan breaks 2 sacks, and then there's another guy there already, which is crazy. Then our defense plays pretty good and gets us the ball back, you know? Like, the story of the game, our defense played pretty solid for most of the game. Obviously, they didn't do ideal stopping the run the whole game, but they played pretty darn good. Then, I mean, we get backed up by a great punt, but geez, that pass probably could have been thrown better by Sayan, but I mean, again, we just couldn't block. I mean, Sayan literally had a total of like 3 seconds for 2 whole plays. And then we come out again and we forced a punt. They started driving down the field, but our defense locked in, forced a punt. They tried Devin Sanchez deep, but he held his ground. But this punt was, I mean, it was perfect. Right down to the 2-yard line, I believe. Yeah. But then we had a good 2-minute drill here going. Sayan finally had some time. We had just put in Padilla, and he was doing much better than Van Sickle. And then, like I said, we had a really good 2-minute drive, but ultimately, Fielding misses the field goal. And that really sucks, but it was a deep kick, a 49-yard kick, and that's not easy, especially for a college kicker, especially for Fielding. I mean, he had the leg on it. He really just needed to put it a little bit more to the right. And that was the half. Yeah, so the first half, O-line just wasn't good. Fielding obviously misses a kick. Defense pretty solid except for 1 or 2 drives, just getting dominated at the O-line. But going into half, 14-0. And then we come out, obviously Padilla in. He was great this drive, especially in the run game. He's really the reason that our run game started to go. And this drive was great, especially for Bo Jackson. Like I said, Padilla played great. He also held his own in the pass game, unlike Van Sickle, who just was getting bullied while he was in there. And then, yeah, Bo Jackson finishes off that drive with a touchdown, and it was a great drive. Finally, we had some hope. And then this next defensive drive, I mean, again, our defensive line was just getting bullied. We we couldn't shed the blocks. Obviously, we also just missed a few crucial tackles. Iggy missed a big tackle on Fletcher. And then a great play from Downs at the end to force his second fumble on Malachi Tony, but a very lucky bounce right back into his hand, and their kicker delivers. And that's just what happens. But yeah, I mean, such a lucky bounce on that fumble. And then this next drive, again, the pass protection much better. I think putting Padilla in really did change the game. And it was just a great drive from Sayin, great drive from the O-line. The receivers were doing good, and it started it off with a big play. Then Smith has a great catch to set up the next play for him, and it's obviously ultimately a great play from Smith with that touchdown. And then obviously now, early in the fourth quarter, our defense just has to get us the ball back. We're only down by 3, and we almost stopped him on a 3rd and 11, but Beck, man, we would let him hurt us with our legs, and he falls on top of I believe it was Chestnut to get the first down, which really sucked, but again, it is what it is. But we did get the ball back with 8 minutes left, and like I said, Padilla, man, was doing very good this drive. I'm going to talk about him a lot just because, he stepped up big, coming in as the 3rd, basically, guard. But really, what ended our drive was we let a 3-man blitz. A 3-man blitz got to Sayin, which forced him to throw it away, or throw a check down on a 3rd and 20. A 3-man blitz, which just, it sucks. And then again, the next drive, our D-line just got bullied. Couldn't shed a block. Couldn't even force Fletcher to make a cut to where it wasn't designed to cut. And then, obviously, by the time they got really close, we had to let him score. Pierce, it looked like he gave up on that play. I think he did intentionally. Chestnut also probably could have had a tackle, but it is what it is. And then, obviously, not ideal to end with the pick, but Sayin had to throw the ball, and the game was already over at that point, if we're being real. So, yeah. My opinion on that game, the line just got bullied. Van Sickle, especially when he played in the first half. But it is what it is. Again, a 3-man blitz ends our season. But, yeah.